Hello and welcome to Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing the film Babygirl, directed by Halina Reijn. This film is excellent. It's got great actors, a really interesting subject. It deals with ethical and moral issues in a non-judgmental way, and it's tense at times. I found this a really thought-provoking and enjoyable film. It's described as an erotic thriller, and I think this is a good description. Nicole Kidman plays Romy, a high-powered CEO. She's a successful career woman, and she ends up jeopardizing her career and her family by engaging in a BDSM affair with her much younger intern, Samuel, who's played by Harris Dickinson. Let's just pause to talk about the acting for a little bit. The acting is really extraordinary. Kidman is just amazing. This is a complex character and she gives everything to the performance. It's fascinating, yet we're slightly uncomfortable. We almost feel voyeuristic as we see her delve into her deeper fantasies that no one else sees. It's totally convincing performance of a woman that's both excited and disgusted by the affair. It's also a great performance by Harris Dickinson. He's such an amazing actor. He reminds me of Daniel Day-Lewis in that he seems different in every film. He's like a shapeshifter. Compare his performances in films like Scrapper or The Iron Claw or Triangle of Sadness. You really wouldn't believe you were watching the same actor. It's a bit of a secondary role, but Antonio Banderas is also fantastic as Romy's husband. We know that Kidman's character Romy is happily married with children and has an idyllic life, but at the same time we also know that she's not sexually satisfied and that she has these deep sexual fantasies that have been suppressed by shame and convention. At one level, it's the story of a woman finding herself sexually, liberating herself, being true to herself. At the same time, there are plenty of moral ambiguities here. The head of a company with one of the most junior employees, there's lots of ethical issues raised. The film expertly treads a fine line between the liberation and possible abuse. But there's always a question of who is abusing who. There's an ambiguity about who is the exploiter here. This isn't fully resolved. She's clearly in the power position, but I think that she's very vulnerable. Although she's very powerful in one aspect of her life, she's emotionally very vulnerable in other aspects, so it can perhaps be argued that he was the abuser. It can also be questioned, is there even abuse taking place? The last conversation that they have is that they both agreed to it, that there was genuine mutual consent. This film is a fascinating exploration of all these issues. I don't think the film is perfect. I would particularly identify a couple of weaknesses. Firstly, we don't see enough of her success. There's a feeling always that the business is being mocked. We get plenty of clips of inane business presentations with over-the-top jargon. We don't get an indication of her actual talents. And I'm not certain about this, but I do think there is a question over the gender politics here. We don't really see her power. She's presented as a highly vulnerable person whose success is superficial and perhaps BS. Like the woman CEO is weak underneath and now she's being exposed. This may be true, but I think that there's many people like this in the business, including men, people who've lived privileged lives and have deep insecurities hidden behind their professional mask. I think that the gender politics may just have been a bit more solid if we'd actually seen her being effective in her business role. As it is, there is a danger that for some this will reinforce outdated stereotypes about women in leadership. There's a second possible flaw, which is a mild spoiler. I thought the ending is weak. Now that she's expressed her wishes, her husband can give her an orgasm. This all just seemed a little bit too clean as an ending, like it was almost a happy ending. I felt like all the ambiguity and moral questions were just glossed over. It's really good and admirable to be non-judgmental about exploring these deep inner fantasies of overcoming shame, of being true to yourself. But this relationship was highly inappropriate in the context of her professional life, and there were no consequences for it. It wasn't really a happy ending. However, this doesn't take away from the fact that I thought this film was really entertaining as a thriller. And it was a thought-provoking exploration of issues that can make people very uncomfortable, yet issues that, and I would include myself in this, that many of us can probably identify with. This is an excellent film and I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.